So this is Korean rice cake, for those of you who are not familiar. And they come in two sizes or shapes. One is this tube shape and one is this sliced shape, which is what you're gonna need today. And they're gonna be baked inside the oven with a gochujang sauce, which is very easy to put together, and a garlicky and sweet ground pork caramelized mixture, and a garlic chive bechamel sauce, and of course, lots and lots of cheese and a chili oil. We are going to be making a Korean rice cake gratin. So of course, ground pork. And I have added cornstarch on top, and this is a very common technique in Asian cooking. The starch helps keep the ground pork moist. So that's done. And the next thing we're gonna do is we're going to be making what's going to season the pork. I already have shallots, lots and lots of garlic, soy sauce, fish sauce, black pepper, whatnot, all standard stuff. But what's not standard is I'm going to add a cup of diced apple. Adding fruits to marinades or soups and whatnot is quite common in Korean cooking, and I love it because it doesn't just bring sweetness, but it has this undertone fruitiness in the back that just makes the dish taste more complex. I think that once you learn this technique, you're going to incorporate it in all other kinds of dishes that needs a little bit of sweetness without screaming sugar. And just like that, a few seconds, you will get a very fine puree. Very important, you need a non-stick skillet. Why non-stick again, you ask? Because we're not deglazing this ground pork mixture. Like, we're actually going to caramelize it. And every time when there's a recipe that requires you to sort of dry caramelize, as you know, as I would try to describe it, meaning like you're not adding any more liquids later to deglaze. You want those caramelization, those brown bits, to be on your food instead of on the skillet or on the pan. I'm going to add olive oil or vegetable oil, doesn't matter. You also need toasted sesame oil. These are all very basic building blocks of Korean cooking, like sesame oil, garlic, sweetness, chili. So now I'm gonna add the pork. Now I'm just going to basically try to break up the pork. I'm not gonna try to brown it too much or achieve any kind of caramelization with it right now, because that's gonna come later. This is what you want. You just wanted to get it to a point where it's broken up and not raw. At this point, you can add that apple mixture. Now mix this in, and we're gonna basically cook all the moisture out of this. And then once all the moisture is gone, it will start to caramelize. Especially the sugar in the apple is really gonna help get the caramelization going. The more patience you have with every step of cooking and instruction, the more reward you're gonna have. Because every bit of these like brown spots and whatnot is going to add flavor to the overall dish. That happens. I think we're there, okay? The next component, the gochujang sauce. The base of the sauce is gochujang, Korean chili paste, yogurt, some milk just to thin it out, Dijon mustard, and then maple syrup. So all you have to do is just whisk all of the ingredients together, no cooking, done. So the next component is garlic chive bechamel sauce, which involves garlic chives. It's a super Asian ingredient. If you can't have garlic chive, that's fine too. You can use a combination of garlic and scallion. Maybe I would say like 2 parts scallion and 1 part garlic. Stuff that into the blender, okay? And then I'm going to add my milk and cream mixture. I've already added the cream inside. Just to the point where like I know that I'll be able to puree this, but I don't want it to overflow. Maybe like that. Ta-da! Once pureed, you're good to go. You can add that remaining milk and cream. And then we're gonna cook the sauce. Pot. This time it doesn't have to be nonstick. I'm gonna say medium heat. And very standard procedure. If you have made a bechamel sauce, you would know. Okay. Butter first. And we're gonna be making a roux, right? Basically, we're gonna cook flour. And that's what's gonna thicken the bechamel sauce. Once it starts to sizzle, I'm gonna cook that for about a minute. Stir, 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 stir. Now, I'm gonna take it off heat just a bit and add in my chive and cream and milk mixture. The reason why I take it off heat is because I don't want the flour to get cooked and, you know, with the mixture, and it's gonna create lumps. It's always better that you mix in the roux with the liquid first before you start to cook and it starts to thicken. Now, all you have to do is bring this up to a simmer. And very important in bechamel sauce, freshly ground nutmegs. And I'm going to season this, not with salt, but with fish sauce. I'm telling you, fish sauce is very good friends with cream. Did you know that? I don't want like every component to taste exactly the same because I want those layers to all come together at the very end when you eat them. There. So it starts simmering, it's thickening. At that point, you can stop. So the final component is this very garlicky and spicy sesame oil. All there is toasted sesame oil, gochujang, grated garlic. That's it, okay? And we're going to kind of cook this until the chili starts to darken in color. Keep in mind that the residual heat that's going to keep cooking. When I'm 90% there, I stop. Okay, so that's it. So I have store-bought already shredded cheese. I have cheddar and I have 6 cheese Italian, which means there's dry mozzarella, Monterey Jack, provolone, Asiago, Parmesan, Romano. Okay, so it's basically the gang's all here. So first, I like to put a layer of sauce on the bottom. You can do the red or the green. Doesn't really matter. This is just to kind of grease the bottom so that nothing sticks. Start spreading these out in like a single layer. Doesn't have to be perfect. I want you guys to tell me like if you think this is more of a gratin or this is more of a lasagna. I'm done with this, right? I'm gonna add another layer of red sauce. Because I have already one layer on the bottom, I'm not gonna do too thick. And then next layer, I'm gonna add the green sauce. I'm not gonna do too thick of a layer. And then the ground pork, sprinkle that around. And then last but not least, a thin layer of the shredded cheese. And basically you just repeat this until you get to the top. At the last layer, I like to do a final layer of that gochujang. You always need a very thick layer of cheese on top of any type of gratin or lasagna. Last but not least, don't forget that chili oil that you made. I'm replacing butter with garlic chili oil. If you want to make it pretty, I usually throw in a few sprigs of that garlic chive here and there. Oh my god! Ta-da! We're done! Highly recommended to put this over another much larger baking sheet because most likely it's going to overflow. And then cover it with foil. Okay? You want to have like a little dome. This and then inside the oven. 1 hour later, ta-da! Look at all those melted cheese goodness. Now with normal gratin or lasagna or whatever you want to call this, usually you want to, at the last few minutes, you want to turn on the broiler, right? And then get it nice and brown on top. But if you know me at all, of course, I'm gonna go with torching. Ooh. I just prefer torching over broiling because it's much more controlled. I get the char I want without burning anything. Oh yeah. And typically, since I'm just me and my husband, I usually don't cut this, but you know, here I'm gonna try not to be a savage. So if you wanna cut these, I recommend a scissor instead of a knife. It's just easier. Look at that. Cheesy, spicy, gooey goodness. Wow. That texture of the rice cake cannot be replaced with any types of lasagna or noodle. Chewy, firm, but soft and bouncy. And then first thing that hits you, spiciness, heat from the gochujang. But then sweetness, garlickiness, and creaminess, everything starts to all like kind of come in together. I hope you're gonna give this recipe a try, because if you're a cheesy gratin lover or lasagna lover, this is such a fun and satisfying way to do a little twist on it. If you're looking for more Korean inspired gratin recipe, check out my kimchi cheese gratin. I created that for as a Thanksgiving side dish. So if you're looking for a fun way to, you know, mix up your Thanksgiving table, that would be a good one to go to. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.